And we're back with the Jaguar today. So this is actually going to be the last video I do with the Jaguar. So obviously I've had horrendous luck with this one, and it's just a case of basically getting this ready. It's been collected today, and I have lost out on this one, unfortunately. That's the way I'm assuming some of these are going to go. I'll try my best to limit that, and I think this has definitely educated me in terms of making sure I don't make them schoolboy errors, those rookie mistakes on the next ones going down the line. It is what it is. A couple grand down on this one, but it's going to get moved on. The guy who's coming for it is actually going to get it back on the road as well, so that's a real positive thing. So unfortunately it's not my skill set at the minute. I've not got the time, I've not got the ability with the tools and the equipment and the location, as you can see at the moment, to be able to do things like engine swaps. The actual engine rebuild would have been about 6 or 7 grand, obviously on top of all the costs of doing the repairs myself as well, so it just didn't really sort of stack up. And with having the money I've got in the other cars at the minute with Carl, it's not really something I could afford to do at this moment in time either. So sad to see this one go, to be honest, as I wasn't really looking forward to getting this back on the road myself, and as I say, having this as a personal car for me. Unfortunately that's not going to be the case with this one. So yeah, just basically thought it'd be worth summarising everything that I've learned from making the mistakes I've made on this Jag with this buy. Try and highlight any things that could help other people not make the mistakes I've made on this, and explain a bit more as to why I've decided to sort of move on from this. So the biggest thing I'd say initially is, whenever you are buying a car from Copart, do pay close attention to the suffix at the end of the numbers that they've got displayed on. It's normally on a white sticker, black writing. I'll ping something up in the corner here now just to sort of show what I'm talking about. Someone commented on one of my earlier videos, Graham, and I will also check out his comment here just to sort of highlight some of the categories as such that these letters mean essentially. Additional one I have been told about, I'm not 100% sure on whether it's correct or not, is but P is police seizure. So if anyone else has any sort of knowledge of any of these initials, if you could comment that at the bottom, it would help me, and I'm sure it help a lot of other people as well with that. But yeah, from my knowledge on this one, I'm going to try and find some detail on it from the pictures. It was advertised as C, which is basically a personal or private sort of entry into the Copart auction. Now what that means is someone's obviously previously bought it and maybe attempted already to try and fix the car, or they've fixed it entirely, but they're then going to auction it through Copart auction rather than going your typical route, which may be sort of your eBay, your Auto Trader to sell the car on. Now this usually means that there's more fundamental issues with the car. Even if something looks like it's complete, it's got its drives and runs, just be very cautious that there might be some other underlying sort of mechanical issues with the car, and really sort of put that into the budget for things going wrong with whether it be engine, gearbox or something else. Obviously in this case it was the engine. Another one is history of the vehicle. So although this Jag was Cat N and it was advertised as that through Copart, I'll have to double check, but I'm not sure whether it came up as a double categorised car. So big one is doing the actual history checks on the vehicles as well. If I'd have done this history check on my car, then I'd have seen that the title would have had 2 category N's against it at different times. Now that's kind of a bit of a red flag in itself, I think. I know certainly Carl, when I mentioned it to him, he said if it was previously damaged as well, it would have put him off, knowing that someone else could have done a repair before. You don't know what kind of standard of works that they've done to fix the previous repair. Pyro fuse. So with this one, I was actually hoping that it was going to be a case of the pyro fuse had gone, and that was why the engine wasn't running, even though it was advertised as non-run. I was hoping for the best. It would have been a case of changing or jumping past the pyro fuse. That would have got me turned over. Obviously on mine, no airbags had gone off. So another one where if I took a bit more time looking into it, I could have seen that no airbags would have gone off. No reason for the pyro fuse then to have blown. With that, all I'd say is, if it is a non-runner, never assume that it's going to be something as simple as that. Always kind of budget or aim for the worst case scenario, and then at least you've got it in your mind that you're bidding on something, and you're only bidding up to a certain amount of value because you're aware that you could have then what it would be on this 6 or 7 grand bill to do the engine rebuild as well. Another thing as well that Copart do is they do the video inspections, where you basically get like a WhatsApp call, from what I can gather. They have got it advertised on their website. I think it's only something like £10 or £15. So again, another real good thing to consider using just to double check things really. For instance, if you're going to be looking at something and you're looking for sort of structural damage, maybe you can get a bit more info, a bit more sort of a good view as to whether you think that would be structural damage or non-structural, even though it's maybe a Cat S on the actual write-off form. And with the delivery on mine, so my biggest peeve on this, believe it or not, was actually the delivery. This car didn't turn up to be delivered until like 10 o'clock at night. I had no reason to believe it was even going to turn up that day. I think it was about half an hour before it turned up, got a text message off the driver, of the courier, to tell me that it was going to be there in 30 minutes. Now, this obviously went to my grand's, so it made it even worse because it wasn't my personal address, so I had to get there, disturb my family as well then at that time. And knowing that this was a non-runner as well, and then expecting someone to be there to unload a non-running car, which also, as we found out, had mechanical issues as well, so the steering wasn't able to be used, I thought was just ridiculous. To be fair to Copart on that, it was through them, but it's like a third-party system that they use, so you never know what type of driver you're going to get. I have had another car since delivered, and that was delivered really well, really good communication through that, and I've since basically grabbed his number, so from now on, if I get any more, I will be utilising him rather than Copart's system, because then I know I can directly contact him to get specifics on ETA of drop-off and ask further questions as well as to when he's going picking the car up. Can you get the service history? Can you get the logbook and all that good stuff while you're at the depot? Because that's something as well that these other third parties won't necessarily ask for. So really would say or suggest to anyone to get your own person that you can rely on when you are getting these cars picked up. With the investigation works that we carried out as well, we've seen that there's more that was described, shall we say, in the actual advert for the car. So that was inner tie rod that I had to change out. Now, with little things like that, I think what I should have done in hindsight, and what I'd advise anyone else to do as well, and also has been commented on one of my previous videos, is if I'd actually contacted Copart straight away on that, I potentially could have got like a partial refund, because it was mechanical damage. There's no mechanical damage stated on there. Now, obviously, with the engine itself, that was stated as a non-runner, so I would have had no comeback on that as such. But certainly, with that inner tie rod failing, that's something where maybe I could 50, 100 quid back. But when you're, especially when you're losing on a vehicle, every penny counts. So that's something that I would also highlight when you do take delivery. Just have a quick once over, and if there is any additional bits that weren't described, then do sort of push that back at Copart and just see what they can do. I know, going back to the Corsa videos, when Cal found that the gear stick on that had snapped, what he managed to do, he managed to get in contact with them straight away. They actually give him the money back for actually buying the part, so that cost us nothing then to change that, other than our time to fit it. So it is something that they will work with you on, but you do need to get on it with it and go straight to them. And finally, I just really want to say massive thank you to everyone who's sort of followed these videos. Obviously, it's not gone the way I wanted it to go. I would have loved to have actually got this car back on the road myself, but I had to move it on because I just couldn't physically put the money into it, with the money of fixing the physical damage to the car, and then obviously the bill that there would have been there for the engine as well. Glad to say that off the back of this, we have since got another 2 cars, so that'll be probably the next lot of videos that I'll put out there, and I'll leave what type of car it is to those videos when they first come up, but I'll look to get one out hopefully next week. So I have got more content coming out. Just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who's viewed, liked, commented and subscribed. But yeah, thank you so much. Wasn't expecting anywhere near the views that I've got on this series, if you like. And yeah, just apologies that I couldn't make the car all the way through and get it back running on the road myself. It is going to someone that's going to get it on the road, so that was the positive off the back of the negative that's come. And yeah, until the next video, thank you very much again, and see you on the next one.